You know what I mean? It's not monetary. Just make sure you're there for them, that you got a relationship with them, that you can talk to them, you know what I mean? Like, my two youngest daughters, right? My two youngest daughters, they look at me like I'm a superhero. You know what I mean? They think daddy's amazing and stuff. But then they also know, like, daddy, you could do a bit better. You're a bit lazy on certain things. You're a bit, you know what I mean? My oldest son, he's like, I want you to do better for my mom. And sometimes we can get immersed in thinking that we're this guy, I'm the knowledge, shit. The most important thing is your family. The most important thing is how you raise them, because how you raise them is how they're going to put you back into the ground. Right? If we go through the natural order of stuff, right? And so I would say, like, those things are important. Those things where you're saying, like, the most important thing, like, I could speak on, like, on my son. My son is not my biological child, right? It's his mother's child, but I've raised him since he was 3 years old, and I know how I was with him when he was growing up. To a certain age, like, we kind of like splitting away. Then they find their own identity, and we're not as tight as we should be. But it's like, now it's kind of nice because I'm kind of merging back that tightness. It means a lot when they kick in and saying, "Oh, daddy, you okay? I love you." That's just made my day. You don't have to say nothing else to me. That's just, you know what I'm trying to say to you,
Nice.
right? So these are the things that are important. I'm also like my other children, like, just to know your dad's there, and your dad's always on the graft. And the reason why your dad's always on the graft is because your dad wants to provide for you. But I used to think, like, the provision is a good thing. Don't get twisted. Like, but it's financial provision. Right, so I'm grafting, and you use it as an excuse. But as you're always constantly grafting, you're always, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You're saying in your head, I'm doing this for my kids. But you're not. You're actually doing it for yourself. You are. You're doing it for yourself because you don't want to really and truly spend that time, because sometimes they can be annoying, right? You have to spend that time. You know what I mean? And not only spend that time, you have to invest that time. And I realize that, and it's mad because I'm not as young spring chicken anymore. I just look young, but you know what I mean. But I'm not. So,
Come on.
Right. So these are the things that are important. But more so, the biggest buzz that any human being can get is when your children turn around and say that I love you. Or when your children can know that, right, I know that my dad is fallible. He's open to making mistakes. Like I'm saying on many things, I don't turn around to say that I'm perfect, because I'm not. You know what I mean? I don't like to walk around and just holier than thou. I do when it comes to boxing knowledge, because historically, I've got photographic memory, and I'm also on the spectrum of being autistic. That's why I can remember fight dates and times and all the rest of it. That's why I can remember it. So I'm kind of like a cheat code. I got the cheat code on it, right? So, but the most important thing is not what you leave to your children, but what you leave inside of them. So I said, I got to start working on myself. So I'm making sure that I'm going to leave something truly uniquely special inside of my children. I remember, like, every morning I'd walk to school with my son. I'd take my son to school. And when I walk to school, I'd make him say affirmations, right? Like, I'm special, I'm bright, I'm intelligent, I'm wonderful, I'm a beautiful child of God. I always say this every day, walking to school. I remember, like, one day, he's 11 now. No, sorry, he's 12 now. And he turns to me and he goes, you know what, Daddy, when I get old, I'm going to do that with my son. And I said, why? He said, because you did that with me. And that was like the biggest compliment I could ever.
Legacy, man.
Yeah, I could ever get. That was like the biggest compliment. So, yeah.
It's beautiful to hear you love your family and you're thinking of them things, and you're probably inspiring a lot of us at home. I want to ask you, how did you make that transition from your boxing career to start going into promoting boxers, and then eventually coming to be like a boxing pundit,
You know what? I'm going to be real with you. What was it? In 2005 it was. Yeah, that's the year my dad passed away. I mean, 2005, um, I was at somewhere watching boxing commentary. Watching boxing. It was Amir Khan. Yeah, it was Amir Khan versus Kinderland, the rematch. Amir Khan was still an amateur then, right? And then after he made the announcement they're going to turn professional, right? And he beat Kinderland on points. And I was watching this and I was listening to the commentary and that, right? And I said, I could do this job, you know. And everyone was looking like, what? I said, yeah, I could do, I know I could do this job. You know what I mean? And off of the back of that, through the grace of God, I was very fortunate to end up at City Boxer Boxing Gym. And when I was at City Boxer, it was run by a guy called Mark Burford. He was saying, Spence, because of your personality, and you know everyone in boxing, let's get your boxer's license, get your managers, trainers, and promoters license, which I went for, and I became the first man to get all three at one time from the border control, and I got that, and he had a white collar gymnasium, and we had another guy, John Matty, and they were like, yeah, why don't you let's put on shows, and we was putting on boxing shows. And that's what we did. We put on boxing shows together. And then I left that organization because I'm young, I'm a dick. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be real. I was making good money. I was right, little dick. And then I go back to the original founder of white collar boxing in the UK is a man called Alan Lacey. So I end up with Alan Lacey back at his gym, the Real Fight Club. And he gives me an office in there. He says, right, just run the gym for us, man. So I'm running the gym. I'll give you shares. Up to now, I still ain't got them shares. Right? He goes like, so I'm in the gym at the Real Fight Club. And while I'm there, some guy called Karen Baines kind of headhunting me. Was saying, I've seen your interviews and your videos and that. I think you'd be the ideal person to come on to Satanta and do. And this time, nobody weren't doing the internet stuff like that. Like how it is now, it's just blown, right? Right, YouTube, then people didn't really know about YouTube or stuff like that. Well, so we're talking like 2007, 2008. He was like, yeah, come and do this. And then like, he got me work at Satanta. So I did all the online stuff. Where everyone was like, nah, it was all about being on TV and blah. I did all of the online stuff. So and it was like, this is how dedicated I was, right? And then this is how I made my name. I would put out content, like be covering fights, and it was mad because I was doing some mad predictions. I remember doing a prediction for Jermaine Taylor versus Carl Froch, and I said that Carl Froch would stop in the last round. And everyone thought, no, you're working with Voodoo. How did you know that, right? So everybody that would write in the comment section on the page for Satanta, I would personally address them. I'd personally send them. So I've always been immersed in boxing like that. And so the transition was, I was there at Satanta Sports, so my stuff's being regularly put out on platforms, and you could rip that and then post it wherever you want to post it. So I said, right, Spencer's at Satanta. So to the guys in where I grew up in my neighborhood, there was a big thing like, right, Spencer's on Satanta. And every now and then Steve Bunce would have the Bunty boxing hour. I have to big up Steve Bunce. He actually came to my mom's funeral as well. Steve Bunce, he'd always regularly I'd appear on that as well. That's a big thing. So I'm constantly on TV then, right? Constantly on TV, and then so I'm doing a lot. And then Satanta went bust. And when Satanta went bust, I started my own channel, me and my friend Ben Dougherty. So it was Dougherty in the Spirit. We did a little chat show thing, right? But at that time now, I've started promoting boxing again. So I've gone back in promotion of boxing. There's a guy called Gregor Shaw from the Welbeck Group. He and Shamrock Solutions, they raised like £3 million for me to get into to do this boxing stuff. So I had a mad amount. I was going quick. You imagine me with, you know what I mean? Even though I didn't get the full £3 million, but I got a lot of money. I just went nuts. You know, it's like, what do you want? Right. So I was doing that. And I remember it was like the same guy, Karen Baines, who came and met me to say, let's do this Satanta thing. Then we put it together. We said, all right, let's be partners. And we went out and partners. And then in a short amount of time, we was putting on these shows. And our thing was like, every fight's going to be a 50-50. So there's a guy called Kresnik Chato, Albanian, right? Forget about this Florian Marku and the numbers that he gets when the Albanians kind of... The originator of that, yeah, was a guy called Kresnik Chato. Like, I remember Kresnik came to me and said, I want to fight again. And I didn't know he was like that.